Ice Bay fans, hola chicos. Come down today, it's Monday, we're in March, beautiful day, nearly 25, 26 degrees, and we're going to do a little filming around the county town of Almeria, Huercal Overa. Population around 19,000 and very, very popular with the expat community. Similar to towns we visited before, Albots and Barlatas, there's not so many expats that live in the centre of the town, but around on the outskirts there's popular communities like Huercal, Santa Maria Nieve, where you've got a very strong and very friendly expat community all living, and this big town is right on their doorstep. So we're going to take a little walk around the town, and I'm going to film this over a couple of days. We've come down on Monday and Sunday, the day before, only just to try and give you an illustration of what's going on in the town, how Corona, the pandemic's affected things here. So let's get walking. So decided to stop off today on Sunday at this lovely plaza here in Huercal Overa. As I said, we're going to do a bit of filming in Huercal Overa, but over 2 days, just really to give the contrast of a weekday to the weekend. 30 degrees here, Sunday afternoon, and this very popular little square which is immediately opposite the Consum supermarket here in Huercal Overa. Not the main square, but as you can see, very popular, and how wonderful that you've got so many people out enjoying a lovely Sunday lunch in one of the 4 bars. Pimienta Rosa is a fantastic bar restaurant. I don't know why it's actually closed today, but the food there is amazing. You've got another little bar called La Buen, which is hidden away around the corner, and this one here, Barlatas, which literally translates to the cans in Spanish, but the food in there, absolutely wonderful. They do a whole, an extensive menu. You can get tapas, obviously, fantastic pizzas from a £5, massive, absolutely enormous burgers for €7, or, you know, the nice usual things. I'm steak and chips, or a chicken in pepper sauce or something like that. So if you stop off in Huercal Overa, then I'd really recommend this wonderful venue. Well, it looks so lovely at Cafe Barlatas that we've decided to stop and take some lunch. Absolutely wonderful. I've got a lovely pork fillet, some shellfish, clams, almecas in Spanish, and we've gone for some scrambled eggs with mushrooms for Huercal. So it's silly not to take advantage. It looks so wonderful and so busy, so we popped in and enjoy some nice food. So, as I mentioned earlier, we've come to Huercal Overa, and we've done it deliberately on a Monday because Monday's market day. It's one of the large, well, because of the size of the town, it's probably the largest market other than in Almeria city. The markets here tend to be obviously different days of the week, but the size of them depends on the size of the town. And because Huercal Overa is a county town, one of the largest markets around. I mean, it goes on for as far as the eye can see and covers God knows how many streets. You can see here lovely stands with herbs and spices. I've just passed a sweet stall, very tempting. We're coming up to a florist, and a staple at every single Spanish street market, the wonderful asador chicken, kind of like a barbecue chicken, normally served with potatoes and taken away or eaten on the spot. So carrying on down one of the main streets now towards the Plaza Mayor. This area of the market, what you find with Spanish markets is they're normally sectioned over different areas. So the area we've just filmed is really where you get the fruit and the vegetables and the fresh produce. Coming down onto this street is materials, clothing, trainers, socks, all that sort of thing. But as you can get some idea of the scale of the market, whether it's because the weather's absolutely beautiful today, it's been very, very busy here, which is nice to see. People are coming down using the market like it was in normal times, but I think there's probably, the visitors certainly aren't here in the same numbers as they were pre-COVID. Get walking. So carrying along the same street now, the market's beginning to pack up, perfectly usual. They're only run in the mornings, you know, normally they're active from 8 o'clock and they'll run through to 1:30, 2 o'clock, and then obviously everyone goes hopefully for a nice lunch. We'll go and check the Plaza Mayor in a minute, which has got lots of cafes and stuff. We're coming up to a real Huercal Overa landmark, and often not seen. It's a wonderful little petting zoo just over to my right here. So we're going to go and take a little walk around there in a minute. It is open because, as I said, the restrictions have been lifted, so you are able to go and have a walk around. So let's go and see if there's any families out in the park today. So because of the size of the town, there's quite a few parks scattered around Huercal Overa centre. This is one of our particular favourites, quite small and very easy to pass by, but it's a wonderful, small, I suppose what you'd call a petting zoo with You just saw their lovely small goats. You've got the chicks have just hatched and everything, and the families that live in the town or visitors can come here with the young children, and you can, you know, stroke all the animals and stuff like that. It's only just opened again recently because of the restrictions, and which is lovely to see. And today, again, I don't know whether it's because it's sunny, it's not crammed by any means. I think people are kind of respecting of the fact that we're in the pandemic and face masks have to be worn, but they're still here in reasonable numbers with the kids enjoying the park facilities, which is a wonderful thing to see. So before we pop down onto the Plaza Mayor, I thought I'd stop here. Huercal Overa has an abundance of great shops. This is one of our favourite ones, a huge clothing, homeware shop that's actually just been refurbished over the course of the pandemic, and it is very, very popular. And it's been great to see so many people today. Actually, I know it's market day as well, so they're probably coming to the market and also using that occasion to go shopping. I particularly as well wanted to come this way because just up behind us we're going to pass the cinema for Huercal Overa. Very rare cinemas in this area. Albox hasn't got one, Barlatas hasn't got one, so you only find these obviously in the big towns. Huercal's got one in Murcia. Almeria City, of course, has got multiplexes. So this is a tiny cinema in comparison to those, but it was very, very popular. But during the course of the pandemic, it's been closed and the doors haven't been opened, which is very sad, but I know that's very similar to what's going on in the UK. And just above the cinema there's a very popular terrace that's got two fantastic restaurants, so we'll take a quick walk up there to see if they're busy today or not. So I've popped up onto what was a hugely popular, kind of hidden terrace, but still extremely popular, with two wonderful restaurants, Saga Frankfurt and another one over here in the corner. Hoping to see terraces bustling. You know, been encouraged by the amount of people we've seen out and about today and using the cafes and bars, but sadly you can see these are now both closed permanently and up for rent, which is a real shame as they've been here for many years and were fantastic. So we're going to have a little pan around the terrace. As you can see, there's a lovely ladies' clothes shop we just passed, Spanish estate agents, and then all of this in front of you that you saw were very, very popular restaurants, and where we're standing now would be full up normally with tables and chairs, but unfortunately all these have now gone. So we've come down now into the Plaza Mayor, one of my favourite, well, the largest and one of my favourite squares in Huercal Overa, tucked discreetly behind the Mercadona. And one of the things I like about it, yes, it's surrounded by wonderful cafes and bars, so you can get some great food and some nice cold beers and stuff, but more importantly, is because it's pedestrianised, so you've got no traffic here at all. At the back of Mercadona, we're standing on top of it, there's a big underground car park, so it's very easy to go there and do your shopping and drop the stuff back into the car, and then straight away come up for something lovely to eat. So just taking a slow pan around the Plaza Mayor now, as you can see, you've got the wonderful 80s bar restaurant, excellent coffees and stuff in there, but it's a fantastic bar as well. And again, very nice to see. People are starting to wander down now from the market. We're just hitting 5 to 2, so it's already fairly busy. People are out getting some lovely tapas and some lunches and enjoying some cold refreshment. I'm sure if we came back in another half an hour, virtually all the tables would be fully booked, which is wonderfully encouraging. So we've come out of the Plaza Mayor and we're heading down now just to have a look at one of the main shopping streets, I suppose, in Huercal Overa. But as you can see behind me, the crowds are gathered. We're outside one of the biggest schools here in the centre. The kids in Spain have been able to be back at school since September, so not the same as you guys have got in the UK. And we've just timed it literally at 5 to 2 now, so all hell's about to break loose as they escape from the school for the day. So I've come this way deliberately because I wanted to stop here at Huercal Overa's main theatre. Been here on many occasions and enjoyed some spectacular shows, including the Russian ballet and the Nutcracker over the years, and of course it had to close over the course of the pandemic. It's now been allowed to open just 2 weeks ago, and they've got their first show on the 20th of March, a comedian, El Sevilla. I've been inside just to have a chat because I was fascinated to see how this was going to work. Essentially, they're allowed to open, they're selling tickets, there's been a really popular take-up, but it will only be 50% occupancy for the foreseeable future. When that changes, we'll let you know. So coming a little bit out of the centre now to Avenida Felipe, quite a long street going through. You've got one of Huercal Overa's football stadiums over there on the left-hand side, which is artificial grass, very popular, five-a-side training. Walking football goes on there as well. This particular street, I've come down here because you've got a few cafes and restaurants like this one I'm just passing now, and a British supermarket, for example. These are all British owned. so it's quite popular with the expat community. And you know, again, they are now open because the restrictions have been lifted, and it's nice to see that a lot of the cafes are quite well populated. You can see the difference in this little area in terms of, although it's a fairly long and wide street, they've not got a lot of space to put the tables that you've seen down in the various plazas and stuff, but still hopefully they're now beginning to do a bit better business than they were a few weeks back when we were under lockdown restrictions. So I've come up briefly from where the football stadium was. It's on the same street to the local sports centre. Fantastic facility, literally incredible. €25 for the month for unlimited usage. You've got a lovely indoor swimming pool here, a huge gymnasium, a little rock climbing wall. There's paddle courts, and as I say, you can join this and come for unlimited periods of time for €25 a month. Current situation, before they used to open from 7 in the morning till 10 at night. Now they can only open from 7 in the morning till 6 o'clock in the evening. Like all the bars and restaurants, they have to shut at 6 o'clock. Real shame. And in the swimming pool, for example, you're limited to 8 people at any one time. So there's 8 lanes in the swimming pool, and you can only have 1 person per lane, so they're having to give people an hour time spot, and it's only for 8 people. Prior to that, of course, it was kind of, you'd have 50, 60 people in the pool at any one time, but that's the way it is at the moment. So just coming up from the sports centre, again, I've made a special stop here. Quite a rare sight in this location. We're actually at the bus garage in Huercal Overa. Albots, Barlatas, so Henna, none of these have got a bus station, but Huercal Overa has, and there's regular taxis outside here on the concourse normally, and you can pick up a bus. The buses leave regularly here. You can go to Malaga, you can go to Alicante. They're all run by a company called ALSA, ALSA.es, and if you go onto their website, you can book a ticket in advance, and you can actually select the language as English, so it's quite easy to do. And as I say, they run regular services between here, Alicante, Malaga, Almeria, and as an example, one way to Almeria from here is €12, so very, very reasonable. And if you live in Albots, you could get a taxi here for, you know, maybe €8 to €12, and then get the bus down to Almeria or wherever you want to go. So it's a very useful facility to have on our doorstep. It would be silly not to come to Huercal Overa and make a quick stop here. Hospital La Immaculada, a big teaching hospital, and this one actually services all the close by towns. So for example, Albots has got a Urgencia, a medical centre, but if it's serious, they've got ambulances, and this is the hospital that they'll bring you to. As you can see, you know, we can film inside, but it's not really appropriate in these times. And if we pan over there to the left, this is where they've got one of the COVID testing centres. It's closed at the moment because it's 2 o'clock, but it opens again in the evening. Currently in Huercal Overa, as of the last published figures, there's 121 active cases. The week before that, it was 120. Bearing in mind, as I said earlier, again, the population's 19,000, 18,700. No numbers. It would be better to have no cases at all, but 121 is not particularly bad, and that's again why the restrictions in this town and all the neighbouring towns have subsequently been lifted. So earlier on, you remember we went via the main street and the petting zoo where the market is. So what I've done, for no particular reason, just so I thought you might find it interesting, is come down to one of the nicest residential quarters, I suppose, in Huercal Overa town centre. And if you look around, this is, you know, typical of town centre dwellings. Not, I appreciate, for the expat community or the expat buyers. These are all Spanish-owned homes, and people that, you know, maybe have lived in Huercal Overa for generations. But as you can see, very, very stylish houses, very large houses. I mean, some of these are 500 metres in build size. Just looking at the wall you're seeing there, that's beautiful natural stone and solid marble. But this is often, if you're coming here as a visitor, or even if you live 20 miles away, you don't know these kind of communities exist within the town. So there's some beautiful options if you want to buy a house here, to come into this kind of neighbourhood, which is obviously dead town centre. So we've now wandered down into, I suppose, my favourite part of Huercal Overa town, the older town. Then, as you can see, this is very typical in style. There's an abundance of tiny alleyways, smaller streets, mostly pedestrianised, full of lovely little bars and wonderful little shops to come and discover. And we're heading down now to what's called the Plaza Constitution, one of the main squares other than the Plaza Mayor in Huercal Overa. and we'll probably finish up today's tour there. So finishing up today, I've just come to one of my favourite little squares, the Plaza Constitution. Obviously, we will come back and revisit Huercal Overa again because it certainly warrants it, and next time we'll try and get a chat with a couple of the local business owners to see what's been going on over the last few months and what they predict to happen in the forthcoming months. But as you can see, beautiful, beautiful little square, again pedestrianised. It's not somewhere where it's full up with cafes and bars, but it's somewhere to certainly come and sit quietly and enjoy reading a book and soak up the sunshine. And just off of this little square, you've got a myriad, an abundance of little streets, mainly pedestrianised, with some fantastic little shops and stuff to go and have a peruse around. And it's just a wonderful place to come and get away from the normally very, very busy centre. But it's usually, again, I know it is a Monday today, we're back on the Monday, and you'd normally expect, especially at this time of day, to have a lot more people enjoying the square, a lot more children out playing because school's finished now, but it's very, very peaceful and very, very quiet. But we'll say goodbye for now and see you next time.